and welcome to This Thing Called Life, a podcast dedicated to sharing stories of giving, kindness, compassion, and humanity. Your host, Andy Johnson, will guide you through powerful stories of organ, tissue, and eye donation from individuals, families, and healthcare teams whose experiences will inspire you. Every act of giving, no matter how small, has the potential to change a life. We're so glad you're here. Now, let's dive into the show.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to This Thing Called Life. I'm your host, Andy Johnson, and I'm so excited to be here today. I have a very special guest, Jamie Mahaffey. He's had an incredible journey, and so I'm just really excited for him to join me today so he can share his journey. So with that, Jamie, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you for being here. We are so excited. Honestly, it's hard to put into words like where to even begin. You have had, as I said, just quite a journey. But I would say, why don't we start with you had the defibrillator, and there were some issues going on, and that then precipitated you, you having to go to UC Hospital.
Right.
So let's start there, because that was around Thanksgiving.
That was November 23.
Okay.
It's, November 11th. I was at work at school in North College Hill, and that morning I wasn't feeling well, and it just was odd. Like I just felt real lightheaded and tried to make it through the day, but like at 1 o'clock, I told Robin, I said, I have to go. And so she talked to our principals, and I headed down to UC, and they did a bunch of tests, and they found out my LVAD.
Yes.
My LVAD got infected somehow. We still to this day don't know how, because my wife Robin was very thorough with cleaning the LVAD, and I also had the defibrillator. Right. And so that caused me to stay there till the beginning of December. I missed Thanksgiving. And they found out that, it's infected. And so one day the doctors came in and they gave me two options. They said we could replace the LVAD and then you continue to lose weight, or we have an opportunity to send you to Vanderbilt University to have a heart transplant. So at the time I didn't know anything about Vanderbilt, but Vanderbilt is number one in the country with heart transplants. They do like 130 a year. UC and Cleveland Health was not able to because of where my weight was. Right. But Vanderbilt, they do all types of sizes and all types of issues. And so it's funny, I was in ICU, and I said, well, I have to bring my prayer team in. And normally only supposed to have like 2 guests. I had 25 in the room, and they all prayed. And we got to the end of it, and a good friend of mine named Eddie Cooper was like, you have looked out for everybody your whole life. It's time for you to look out for you.
Yes.
And so instead of doing the LVAD, we decided to do the transplant. And so to get into Vanderbilt is very tough. Like, it's rare. It takes like months. And so the day they said they called down there, and luckily my cardiologist had worked there. And he knew people down there. And come to find out, this CFO of Vanderbilt knew my sister Renee.
Leanne Liska.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so something that could have took 3 months, it took 2 days.
Yes.
I got in. And then they transported me. So I'm thinking helicopters, because they have helicopters. 4 hours on a stretcher in the ambulance to Vanderbilt.
Oh, my goodness.
And so that process alone was only a month, but it seemed like it was years. But then I ended up going to Vanderbilt. The first time I went down, I thought I was staying for good, but it was just tests done. So I had 2 weeks of tests. Everything you can imagine, dentists to, that's another thing. If you don't take care of your teeth, that's an affection of your heart. Right. So those appointments are important, something that I didn't do regularly. So after I had the test done, I thought I was staying, but they said, no, you can go home for Christmas. So I got to come home, and we stayed there, learned a lot at home, but I just enjoyed the peace with my family. And so on January 18th, they said, you need to come back down, and I was approved, but I wasn't listed yet.
Okay.
So I was going back down on January 18th to get listed.
Okay.
And during the process on January 17th, we're driving down and we get about an hour out. We stop at a gas station, and I was going to the restroom and my defibrillator shocked me. So being a man like I am, I didn't tell my wife. Just going back to the car like normal. But then an hour out, it just kept shocking me. And she was like, okay, we're going to the emergency room. I was like, no, I'll be fine. We can wait till tomorrow. And so we got to Nashville and we pulled into the hotel, and it shocked me again. But during the shocking, I couldn't hold my urine. And so it was just, she said, oh, we're going. So I went there, and they got me in there, and they were running tests, and they said, we need to get him on a bed. During that process, my defibrillator shocked me 42 times.
Oh, wow.
And so the cardiologist came down, and he was like, okay, we have to admit him. And so that's when I stayed there. And on January 18th, the doctor came in that morning, and he said, you go from level 3 to level 1. So level 1 is where you need a transplant.
We're 1A.
Level 3, yeah, 1A. And so the LVAD is infection was like level 3A, you know. So I jumped straight up. So he said, we're going to find you a heart. And I'm like, okay, once again, I'm like, that's going to be a couple months. But God always has his own way. And it was 2 days he found a heart. And so he said, we're checking the heart now, and then we're going to go get it. So that was on Saturday, he said that. So I think he came in and told me on Wednesday. On Friday, he found a heart. Saturday, he said they're going to get it. And he said your surgery would be Sunday evening. So Robin had gone back home then because she just thought, you know, since my daddy's on stage, so she should get the house in order.
Right.
My daughter Danielle was at home with my son Eric, who was senior at Moeller, and it was basketball season, so she had to stay there with him. But she did come down with him this time, and Eric stayed with some close friends of ours named the Gordons, and they were friends of us at Moeller, and Eric got to stay with them while Danielle came down. So they came down the day of the surgery, and they were late because there was an ice storm.
Oh,
And so they made it in there, but I didn't see them before surgery. I talked to them on the phone. And so surgery, I just found out, went from January 21st into 22nd, so it took 8 hours. Wow. And they kept my chest open, and they had to make sure everything was cleared up and not infected. And when they closed me up, surgery was done on the 22nd, but I didn't wake up till Saturday. I was in a coma for 5 days.
Wow.
Because the heart wasn't
Right.
initiating with my body.
Right.
And my wife said every day the doctor was coming in like, what'd I do wrong? Like, just very stressed. And then Saturday when I woke up, he fell on the floor crying because they only really hold a coma during a stretch after surgery for a short period of time. And when I woke up, you know, I just woke up like it was still Monday. My wife said, no, it's Saturday. I was like, what?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so that was January 21st, 22nd, 24.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a lot. It's a lot.
So that was in 2024.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I can't even imagine what that was like for your family, because I know, you know, family is everything for you. What was it like waking up and seeing your wife, Robin, and for that first time?
Well, like I said, I thought it was Monday.
Right, that's
true. And when
true.
she told me it was Saturday, I was like, what happened? And she was just crying. Danielle had to go back to be with Eric. And so it was just her. But it was just, you don't know in your sleep how God's working while you're resting. Sometimes we always are controlling of everything. And so at that time, you know, it felt like a deep sleep. But when I woke up to see her, I'm thinking everything, hey, I made it through. But she's crying because I woke up. I was happy just to see her. So it was, and so I got to talk to Evan. He was playing basketball at Ohio State at the time. And because the whole time, he did an interview with the Big Ten Network about the whole situation. And he said, I didn't know that if that was the last time I was going to see my dad or not. So it was touching time, very touching. But you wake up and see them and to have 1,000 tubes coming out your mouth and holes in your chest, and
Right.
that didn't bother me at the time. I look weird, but I was alive.
You were alive.
Yeah.
How did you feel? Like you've been through, I mean, this is saying a journey probably doesn't even seem adequate of a word, but you wake up, you have this new heart.
Mm-hmm.
How did that feel for you? Like you have had a history of, health challenges, and it's been, but just waking up and realizing, wow, I have this gift.
Yeah. At the time, I was 51, so I called the process Reborn at 51.
Reborn at 51.
Yeah. And so it was like God was giving me another opportunity to listen to him. There was a time, I was just always busy. I was head coach and won state titles and played college ball and played overseas, and I was always moving, but I was always looking after other people.
Right.
As a men, we are fathers and we take care of our house, and I was an AD and I was a coach. I was a mentor, so I'm looking after everybody else but myself.
Right.
And it was a time he was saying, it's your turn. So when I woke up and I saw them and saw the doctors who are happy, and it's funny, in my room in Vanderbilt, I always play gospel music. So during shift change, every nurse like, I want Mr. Mahaffey. I want him, because I was silly and I always had a good time, but I also, always had a room of peace.
Yes.
Because, in the nursing business, it's always stressful. Doctors, always stressful. And sometimes they just want to go somewhere and have peace.
Just want to come to your
And so
room.
my wife had music playing.
Yeah.
And it was during a time, too, where I was down there that I never really touched my cell phone. And people always said, because people, first thing they do is their cell phones. I go to restaurants and people's heads down, not even communicating. But I didn't have my cell phone, but I noticed I had more peace. So I do that now. Like, I just put my cell phone away, and but she didn't have her cell phone. She was just looking at me.
It was just the two.
Yeah. And so we got Evan and Eric and Danielle through FaceTime, and they were all happy. And Evan was crying because he never thought he'd see me again. Like, those are my boys. Like, Danielle's my princess, but those are my boys. And so to see them was a different feeling. But this gave me another opportunity in life.
Yeah. So speaking of your princess,
Yes.
I understand we have a wedding coming up.
Yeah, that's another thing. So when I went down to Vanderbilt, she came to see me.
It's okay.
She said that, remember, you got to walk me down the aisle. So I had to come back. So her wedding is this summer. Wonderful young man. He played college football. He's working working to get in the NFL now. And but I think the biggest thing is she needed someone that focused on her.
Yeah.
And he's a Southern boy. Like, he's teaching me things. Like, my wife's looking at me like, what are you doing? Like, he'll open the door and put the seatbelt on and close the door before he goes on the driver's side. So he did that for the first time. My wife was like, I said, no, we got 27 years. You can open that door. I'm not coming around there. We got history. But he is such a yes, sir.
Yeah.
No, sir. Respectful to everybody. I think the biggest thing is that Danielle needed someone to settle her. And he does a good job of that.
What does that mean to you to know that you're going to be able to walk Danielle down the aisle?
Means a lot. Firstborn, always called her my princess. You remember the days where you're all day at cheerleading for Little League, and she's doing all at gymnastics. And, one thing I always taught, my dad taught me, but I've learned is that you always want to invest your kids in everything. In extracurricular, because it teaches them discipline, teach them relationships, and it teach them a routine of order. And Danielle was tried out for everything. She had softball, she had cheerleading, she had gymnastics, and basketball, of course, because that's what I coach. And I remember the first day that I brought her to the gym. I was AD, and I said, well, go down to the gym with Aunt Janine, she has volleyball practice. And so I was sitting here, people run into my office, and Janine was like, "You're stupid." I'm like, "What?" "You got this girl playing basketball. She's an All-American volleyball player." I said, "We play basketball in this family. We don't play no volleyball." And and from that day forward, she came to me like 3 days later and said, "Dad, I think I'm interested in volleyball." I was like, "I'll support you whether you play the cello, anything." But when she left the room, I was like, "Dang it, I thought she's gonna play basketball." But she became All-American at Tennessee
Wow.
in volleyball, and it's awesome to see as a parent when you let your kids develop into their own nature and not force them into the nature that you want them to go. And she's really become a woman. And see her walking down the aisle. I mean, she's maturely ready
Yes.
to handle this, because
Wow.
during the time when I was in Vanderbilt for 6 months, she was a parent to Eric.
Right.
And
Right.
she took care of everything. I mean, we had to get another apartment down in Vanderbilt, and through the GoFundMe, that all that stuff and the bills were taken care of, which is a blessing, because that was just like a whole nother rent that we were already paying.
For sure.
And so she was a parent, and I think that also helped Eric mature, because the father was out the house, the mother was out the house, and the step-in mother really did a good job, because everything at the games, if he messed up, she didn't have my whistle, but he would look at her and he knew that he was acting up.
Right.
And
Right.
so she was, during that stretch, she really showed me that she was prepared to be a parent. So to walk her down the aisle is going to mean a lot.
Wow. So you have received this gift,
Yes.
the second chance at life.
Yes.
The tragic side of that is that someone passed away.
Yes.
How did you cope with that? How did you reconcile that?
I was grateful. But on the other side, Vanderbilt has this policy of not connecting with the people till they're ready.
Right.
Because you got to realize, so they gave you a gift, but they lost the gift.
Right.
And it's funny you said that. In November of this last year, I received a letter from the lady.
Wow.
And it's a powerful story. He was a 21-year-old boy.
Wow.
He was autistic.
Oh my goodness.
So everything that he wasn't, I was. He didn't talk much. I talk a lot. He liked music, but I do. I love music. I sing. And the number one thing he always said was, only thing he really said was "mama." And I'm a mama's boy. My mom passed away in 2020. I called every morning on the way to work. So I'm my mama's boy. But the other thing about that is the character he loved and he always carried with him, even at 21, because he's autistic, was Buzz Lightyear. And what's Buzz Lightyear? To infinity and beyond. And so when she wrote that letter, I just wrote her back. And they normally say, don't leave your address. I did, because I want to connect with her.
Yeah.
And email. I gave her my company email. And I told her his life is making me pursue my company, which is Mahaffey Incorporated. That our strive is set the standard, don't match the energy. And so the thing that a lot of things are lost right nowadays is the standard of life.
Right.
We try to, everything's microwavable. We want everything's quick. We don't want to go through the process. And so I sent in a letter. I said, we all are reaching touchdowns, but I'm going for first downs because I want to take the standard of doing it step by step. And I said, I just thanked her for the heart, and I told her everything I do matches what he didn't do. And it was a good connection. But she said this, she was like, we are proud to give this gift to a gift.
I love that.
Yeah.
So your transplant journey, you've had some challenges even post-transplant. And so part of that was
Amputation.
the loss of the leg, the amputation. How did you, and I know you are a man of tremendous faith, but I can only imagine that had to be difficult. You're this large man, bigger than life, athlete. How did that impact you? How did you manage through that?
That was harder than the transplant.
Really?
because my whole life was I was athletic. My dad had me in everything, whether it was used to be a kickball team, and I
The
had
good old
soccer,
days.
baseball. I played everything, and everything was done with my legs. And when we always do things by family, so we called FaceTime again. We're at Vanderbilt. We're in our apartment, and Evan's like, Dad, I know this is hard for you, but everything we always say this, God does things for a reason.
Right.
He said there's going to be a lesson behind that, and that's when I started to develop the company, and the logo like this, because it's like, even though you lost a limb, you gain a vision. And so my vision was to help young men in sports, and really to help parenting in sports. And so when we made the decision to have it done, it was tough because, during the process of the transplant, they had me on ECMO machine, everything to push all the blood to my heart. And so I have pictures still. I look at how blessed I am with my foot. It was like black. You could see the circulation really wasn't going, but I wasn't in pain.
Wow.
But it was really, and then finally the doctor, what happened, I got sick on a Sunday. And the doctor said, it's probably coming from your leg. It may be infected. And it was on Saturday. And he said, and that's when the kids were like, let's get it done, Dad. So when I came out of that, and then they look at your leg and look at this leg, and then they're cutting all the toes off on this one.
Okay.
And, of course, prosthetic over here, I'm looking like, well, I guess I won't be jumping no more. But that was harder because of everything I do. I train kids in basketball.
Right.
And, but it just made it full circle of the transformation he was putting me through. Something new. But doing all that, I know there's a purpose for me to just keep having people to not live off their potential, but pursue their destiny. And so that's why I teach a lot of kids. A lot of people are still in life living off potential, but not pursuing the destiny. And so we have a lot of kids like that. Like, oh, I want to be like Michael Jordan, but what are you about? You know what I mean? So Evan, my oldest, really helped me to think that way. Because we're not what we used to be. Where a lot of people live off what they used to be. I tell kids nowadays, I won 3 state titles, but I never wear the rings, because it's not about that.
Right.
It's about me being invited to those kids' wedding, to their kids' birthday parties. But Evan really, during that time, really helped me to understand that.
Right.
So that's probably the hardest thing over the heart transplant.
Wow.
Yeah, and every day I wake up putting a prosthetic on. I tease it because it's all basketballs.
I know. I was hoping you would show it, because I do love the basketballs.
It's what.
Wow.
It was tough, but I got something that reminded me what I love my kids to do.
Right.
But also it reminds me of just life in general.
Right.
Yeah.
You have such an amazing outlook and attitude about everything that you've been through. I mean, it really is inspiring. And what I appreciate is, a lot of times we hear these stories, and I've talked to so many people, and it's like, oh, I had this transplant and now, everything's great. But I think it's important for people to remember this is not like a linear journey, and it's got the roller coaster effect. But to watch how you've navigated that, I think you really are a role model to others who are struggling.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
And so you took your pain, you've made it into purpose, and you've created this company. And I love your logo. Every time I see it, it's an amazing logo. But you also took another step in getting certified to be
John Maxwell.
Yes. So talk about that and what you plan to do.
John Maxwell certification was a stepping stone to a vision I always heard about myself, about being a motivational speaker, about writing books, about being, my friend said it pretty good. He said, being a normal eyesight to life. Sometimes you get people people always look up to athletes, to actors, to things that can be reachable, but 10% of it people don't reach it. I mean, but more 90% people don't reach it. But some people just want to see a blue collar person who's made it through and still living life for life. So nowadays, and what I do now is just, I still work in North Carolina. We got 3 years left in the school system. But the biggest thing is that helping people pursue their dreams.
Okay.
I talk to my sister Renee about it all the time. I was like, what is your dream, though? I know where you work, but what is your dream? My wife, Robin, like, she is why I'm here. My wife, she was my caregiver. It's funny, when the doctors would come into the room, they would wait to come in our room because my wife always had this notebook. They're like, okay, we know she's going to have questions. Are we ready for this? I think we're ready. But she knew everything. She calls herself the, the WebMD master. But she knew every medicine. There was a stretch in March where, right before Easter, where something was really wrong with me. So they had these wires all to my head, and I couldn't remember stuff. Like, I couldn't remember just the day it was. So every day they would come in and be like, what's your name? Where are you at? What season is it? What's the name of the hospital? What's your mother's name? And it was getting where I was really, it's like for a week, I was not doing well. And then one day, my kids came for Easter. And all of a sudden, I heard their voice. I remembered everything. And then the next morning, I think I got up at 3 a.m. And God woke me up. He was like, I saved you twice.
Wow.
Now, when are you going to trust me? And so that's why I developed the Reborn at 51. And Robin came in. I had the room clean. And I was walking around. And all of a sudden, my weight was like down. Like I was when I went to the hospital, I was 390.
I know you look fantastic.
And now, now I'm like,
I can see the transformation.
Came out like at 225. It's funny, my best friend was like, did they give you crack? Because you look skinny. I'm like, no, they didn't give me no crack. I said it was all fluid because my heart was
all the fluid,
pumping double time.
Yeah.
And my heart was working at 5% before the transplant. And when I came out, now I'm at a normal weight, like 250, 260. That's a good weight for me. But when you come out of hospital, you don't have any taste buds after transplant. You don't. I didn't want any sugar. Like I was just, and so now like I'm on this non-sugar diet to get the stretch back to normal, and I didn't look the same. But sometimes I'm a quote guy. My friend,
I'm picking up on that.
My friend told me in 2006, he's like, "You're stupid." I said, "Why?" "You don't write down what you say." I said, "Well, God just gives it to me." Like, but I was living off other people's mindset of what they expected from me, not what God expects from me. And so me, like kids, like when I was coach, I take the kids home from practice, and they'd be like, "Coach, my mom didn't cook. Can you stop at McDonald's? No problem." And so I gained so much weight because I was eating what they eat. They'd be like, "Well, give me 2 McDoubles with mac sauce." I said, "Give me 2 McDoubles with mac sauce." But it was like I was living in the mindset of stress.
Yes.
During that time, my heart was not well.
Right.
But I was avoiding the truth of exercising, of eating right. So now we're at this stretch where everything I do is to make other people better, along at the same time myself making myself better. So I think the toughest thing coming out of during that trauma was understanding what your purpose is.
Right.
And so I think I know what my purpose is. And I've been doing it my whole life because I've been a teacher, I've been a coach, but you don't realize that you're really doing that.
Right.
And part of the things I wrote down when I was taking notes of this is that when I came back to the school in December of 23, I have a statement that I wrote down is that you never realize what your influence is when you're gone. And so when I came back, kids wrote me. Yeah. I have like 500 letters from kids from the school, and I still have them, and teachers and all that.
What was that like, realizing you have this village of people who just rallied around you and your family? Like, how did that make you feel?
Man, it was different. They had a basketball game where they made T-shirts and I think my dad has a band. He has it on. They made these bands of Mahaffey's Miracle.
Wow.
And all the money,
Mahaffey Miracle.
all proceeds went towards the GoFundMe. And but it was the whole community in North Couch Hill. You know, I've been there for 29 years now. And so it's funny, you know, you're old when one of your players enrolls their kid as a middle schooler. And I'm like, oh, it's time to go. You know, I'm only 53, but I said it's time to go.
It's time,
You know, but it's you never know your influence.
Right.
You know, and you don't do things. Right now I'm going through a process where you don't live life off of recognition. You live it because you're trying to strive for your best purpose.
Right.
And so for so long, people would take that and be like, "Oh, I'm the big guy," but I never did. I just this is what I've just known to do through my parents. My parents, I mean, I saw the influence they had. We could have went to the airport and be like 20 people come up to them just because of the influence they had on people's life. And nowadays, we went to Cracker Barrel the other day, and 4 students I had. I mean, my meal was free. I was like, well, what day do you work again? Because I'll be back, you know. But it's like you don't do things for that reason. You just do it because that's what God has told you to do.
Right.
And so I think the whole thing about it is like just pursuing your purpose, you know. And so when I saw those kids walking through that door and everybody ran up on me, you realize you have that influence.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's different.
You know, I can't stop staring at your shirt because I love that logo, and as I look at it, I just the word that comes to mind is warrior. Like you're a warrior. You have fought through so much adversity with your health. What would be your message to other men out there who may be struggling with health? We know that, you know, our Black men in particular have higher rates of heart disease, of kidney failure, and it's a struggle.
Right.
And I think just to see you and how you've come through and you're a living testament.
Yeah.
What would be your advice to those men out there?
Well, my company theme is also being legacy minded, but there's no legacy without you.
Right.
And so if you don't take care of your health, there will be no legacy because you won't be around to tell your legacy.
Right.
It's funny, in January, I went through this. I'm in the stage now of be silent and listen. And I was watching a minister, and he said this that really has blessed me. And I've read the book called Let Them by Mel Robbins. It's really blessed me. And it's saying, you are living in a dysfunctional manner because you're managing people that God never assigned you to manage.
That's deep.
So we're living in an era of controlling now, but that's not your assignment.
Right.
And so my message is you never can pursue your purpose if you don't take care of your health.
Right.
And you have to put yourself first, then God, then everybody else. I mean, God first and then yourself. You know what I mean? So it's like you have to take care of yourself before anybody else.
Right. Or
you won't be around. Like my daughter's saying, you have to walk me down the aisle. If I would have stayed in the stage of not taking care of myself or had the opportunity for a heart transplant, that wouldn't be happening.
Right.
You know, and my mom always, you know, she always taught us like, I'm on the Southwest diet. I'm on this diet. So, you know, the number one thing I could do now, because my mom's from Savannah, Georgia, and the rule is, my dad hasn't gotten it yet. He's starting to get it. If you're a male and you have kin to a Southern area, you got to know how to cook.
That's right.
And that's my hobby. I love cooking. And the way I cook at home now is nothing but healthy, you know. And, you know, we have a splurge day, which is Saturday, but men have to take the forward step of that.
Right.
Whether it's going to the dentist, whether it's getting your yearly check, whether it's getting your colonoscopy done. I mean, when I had that done in Vanderbilt, I was like, okay, I always hated this.
Right.
I always didn't want to have it, but when they did it, and I woke up, I was like, okay, you know.
Right.
But it's like you have to have it done.
Right.
Now the big jug of juice is nasty. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, that's not fun.
No, it's not. But the process and knowing that you're okay
Yeah.
is good. I mean, a good friend of mine who used to videotape me when I played high school basketball, James at Channel 12, just died.
I know.
And he was a good friend,
Yeah.
and he knows my story from Roger Bacon on. And when I found out about that, and I knew the health things he was going through.
Right.
But it's another sign of getting ahead of things early. You know, I have my kids go to dentists every year, and my boys play. Now they both play at Akron now, and you know, they came home and for Christmas, and we had them scheduled for the dentist, and they hate going. Evan got mad at Robin because she was like, "You said I was just going for a cleanup, but they found cavities in there." That's your fault.
That's a you problem,
Right.
Evan.
I was like, I don't even know. My statement I said to my kids when they talk to me, I said, I don't even know why you're still talking. You know, and so the key is, as a man, is to have a legacy. You have to live a legacy. And if you're not around to do that for your family, for the loved ones, and we don't realize how many people really depend on us. Like, I didn't realize that till I came back to church, and, you know, people are dependent on you. But you still have to manage what God assigns you to manage.
Right. Right.
And one thing he gives you control of is yourself. You know, your body is a temple.
That's right. That's right.
Yep.
I can't take it for granted.
No.
So you have identified yourself as a mama's boy,
Yes.
and I think your siblings would agree as well.
Yeah. Yep.
Can you share a favorite memory of your mom?
I think I have two. First one is every year we went down to Savannah for our family reunion, but to see my mom talk to her sister, it was like a glow. So when I went down after the transplant, that's summer 24, I was sitting next to her sister, and it felt like the same moment. I have a picture with her sister, and that's like, my dad talks to her every day. And then the memory you're going to laugh about, the best time with my mom was 4 a.m. on Thanksgiving Day. We would be cleaning chitlins. We talked about everything. You remember that? We talked about everything, and we were just listening to Christmas music, or it was like transitioning. But it was the best time, you know. And
Just you and her.
It's me and her cooking. And she taught me cooking, and with her brothers, and I learned how to cook. You know, it's like nowadays when I cook, it's like they're like, "What are you putting in it?" But I don't even know. You know, but I know what to put in it because from her cooking. You know, so those are two memories.
Oh, those are awesome. Those are beautiful. And then you've said you're in the choir.
Yeah.
You like to sing.
Yeah, I'm a praise leader.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So can you give us something something to
My favorite song I sing is a old hymn. There is no place I'd rather be than here with you, my Lord. For in my heart there is a longing to know and serve you more. All that I have, I lay at your feet. To serve you is my greatest joy. I will always love you, worship and adore you. I will always love you, Lord.
Wow. Just put a fork in me. I'm done. Oh, thank you, Jamie.
No problem. Anytime.
So I have one question that I didn't ask earlier. Can you share the name of your donor, the first name of your donor?
They tell me not to,
Okay.
but I know his name and all that. I
Okay.
know the lady's name, but
Okay.
until she responds back, I
Gotcha.
can't.
Okay. Okay.
But, I just know, I tease people all the time. As you know, I like to joke around. And people was like, man, what's it like? I said, man, I got a white man's heart. I said, my credit went up and everything was happening. And I was teasing with that stuff. But it's like, I'm really grateful. And I tell my wife nowadays, I said, well, you remember, I know I'm going to live longer than you because it was a 21-year-old heart.
That's right.
You older than me, so. But
I'm sure she
I
thinks
think
that's very
through
funny.
all trauma, and I'm trauma certified too.
Yeah.
Through all trauma, there is a light. My pastor always says a statement, when it gets dark, darker than 1,000 midnights in a black lagoon, and they have to pipe sunlight down to you, there's still going to be light to reach you.
Wow.
And so it gets dark.
Mm-hmm.
And during that time, it got dark. Even in March, it got scary and dark. But there's always something that gives you life. And for me, that's my wife and kids. And then my dad and my sister, Renee, came down. That just lets me know that was near the stretch where I was almost coming home. And when I came home, I was in a wheelchair. My wife had to lift a wheelchair in the car. And then I had to, I think my triceps are the stronger than, because I have a bi-level house. And so I was pushing up the steps with my triceps were super strong. I had to do that for a whole month. And then I went from that to getting my prosthetic and a walker. And then I went from a cane. And as of after Thanksgiving, I said, 2026, I'm not having nothing. So now I walk without anything.
Wow.
So everything steps,
Yes.
first downs.
First downs.
Reach for first downs.
Yeah. I really just respect your outlook on life and looking at this as like the new chapter. I'm so glad that we got to sit down and talk about this and just really sharing your testimony. And I think that you are just such a bright light for people who may be struggling and just, you being vulnerable to share what you've gone through and how God has brought you through.
It's funny you said that. My pastor wants me to come and give me a speech about the letter.
Oh, yeah.
And he's talking about being vulnerable. And I was like, well, you got to realize, I've been naked in front of a lot of people. I was like, that's not one thing I am not worried about no more. Because if it's not a testimony until you give the full story. And that's what testimonies are, because a testimony is not for you. It's to help other people.
Right.
And so that's why I go out and do motivational speaking now. I'm working with a company trying to get a contract for several years to be their care winner about just telling the story and helping other people. Because I think the biggest thing is that, I have a story to tell, but I always remember it's not who you are, it's whose you are. And I know whose I am.
Right.
That may sound crazy, but
I'm tracking.
yeah,
with
okay.
Yeah, I
My
got
wife
you.
would be like, "Your English is bad," but you have to remember that, because it's like always. My number one thing I say in a speech is everybody's design in their hand is different. You would not find the same design on your hand.
Right.
That means you are individual. You are someone that God has made you to be something else, because you're never going to be the same as the person next to you.
Right.
And so that you have to take your purpose and make it what it's supposed to be.
Right.
And to stop pursuing others' purpose. And so that's just, I speak that all the time to kids, because they always look at superstars as that's where I want to be.
Right.
We have a kid, I want to play in the NFL. You have a 1.4.
Right.
Are you going to
Talk
go to school?
about that. Yes.
Yeah. And the biggest thing is you have to be honest with people. Me and my wife don't have a lot of friends because we're honest. And we're not telling you what to do. We're telling you what will be better for you. And so, it's a situation where I challenge men to do this. And this is what I go for. Pick 5 people in your life that make you a priority. And you'll see how many people you cut off.
Right.
You don't cut them off and say, I forget you, I still love you.
Right.
But you got to pick 5 people that make you a priority. and that's how you'll live in life.
Wow. Well, I think that's a great way for us to conclude our time together. Again, thank you so much
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
being with us today. And thank you to the donor that gave you that second
Absolutely.
chance.
Absolutely.
So I want to thank everyone for listening today. This is just really a powerful story, and I hope that it resonates with you. And I'd also like to remind you that today there are more than 100,000 people who are waiting for that life-saving gift, the gift that Jamie received. And you could be the difference. So please learn more about what organ donation is and what it isn't. You can visit networkforhope.org to get more information, and you can also register at registerme.org. Again, thank you so much for being with us, and I just want to remind everyone to please be kind to yourself and to others. Take care.
Thank you for tuning in to This Thing Called Life. Remember, every act of giving, no matter how small, has the potential to change a life. Be sure to subscribe on iTunes or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts so you never miss a new episode. We'd truly appreciate it if you could share, like, or leave us a review to help us grow.